Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsan ila yawmil jazaa amma ba'd. So we are continuing chapter 6 of Adab al-Mufrad. Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi has titled this chapter Babu Jaza'il Walidain, the chapter on repaying one's parents. Hadith number 13. وبه قال وحدثنا أبو نعيم قال حدثنا سفيان عن عطاء بن السائب عن أبيه عن عبد الله بن عمرو رضي الله عنهما قال جاء رجل إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يبايعه على الهجرة وترك أبويه يبكيان فقال ارجع إليهما وأضحكهما كما أبكيتهما. الله أكبر. Abdullah bin Amr radiallahu anhuma, he narrates that a man came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yubayi'uhu ala al-hijrah, making bay'ah, pledge with him for hijrah. So, a couple of things. Bay'ah is also a separate discussion. Bay'ah is an Arabic word. In English, it can mean pledge or allegiance. Misunderstood because of its connection to the subject of tasawwuf, which is a separate science. Inshallah, when we have time, we can cover that in some more detail. But from a fiqh perspective and from a sharia perspective, bay'ah is something that is technically legally sunnah, in the sense that you are officially accepting somebody as your teacher, as your guide. And this was something that was understood by default. When someone accepted Islam at the hands of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they make bay'ah with him. They pledge whatever he commands them, they will follow. Whatever he instructs them, they will do. They will obey. Okay. Afterwards, later on, it kind of transferred into more of a political concept. Okay, you pledge your allegiance, you make bay'ah with such and such ruler. You are loyal to him. You are loyal to his party. You are loyal to his group. Okay. In the context of tasawwuf, right, you accept someone as your spiritual guide, your shaykh, your mentor, right? The same reason why we stick to one doctor, one general physician, right? Why? Because they know us, they know our physical tabiyah, they know our medical records. Same way spiritually, right? We spend the most time with them, we sit in their majlis, we sit in their halaqah, and they remind us the most of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we take religious guidance from them. There's nothing wrong with taking religious guidance from multiple people, but practically, it's not always easy, and it's also not practical either. 5 different people will give you 5 different advices. All of those advices could be good. Right? The sunnah is to stick to one, but in any case, it's sunnah at best. Right? And this is not something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask about on the Day of Judgment. Who was your shaykh? Or did you take bay'ah or not? Right? In any case, this person came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam making bay'ah specifically for hijrah. Okay? Meaning he came from outside of Medina Munawwara and he promised that he will move to Medina Munawwara. Or he will move to wherever Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells him to move to. Okay? So to give a couple of important pieces of context, first and foremost, hijrah is one of the greatest acts of worship and one of the greatest acts of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Hijrah and Nusra. Right? This is what the entire ummah is all about. It starts with the hijrah of the people of Makkah Mukarramah and the Nusra of the people of Medina Munawwara. Right? But the people, the ulama talk about this. Who made more sacrifice? Was it the people who did hijrah or was it the people who made Nusra? Right? The people who traveled or the people who welcomed? Right? In any case, hijrah, right, is a very, very big deal, right? In that time, in that place, in that context, right, I spoke about this in the beginning of the month of Muharram, but you leave everything behind. You leave everything behind. Abu Ayyub Ansari radiallahu anhu, Rasulullah sallam lived in his home, and Rasulullah sallam breathed the air inside of his 4 walls and ate from his dishes and slept in his cushions and stuff. He left Medina Munawwara. This is literally the home of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for a couple of months until his own apartments were constructed. Abu Ayyub Ansari radiallahu anhu left the barakah of that place and he's now buried in Turkey, right? Sultan Ayyub. So you move for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In any case, the people that left from Makkah Mukarramah to Medina Munawwara, majority of them were not rich, right? They were persecuted in Makkah Mukarramah. When they went to Medina Munawwara, they didn't have anything. Even though they were wealthy in Makkah Mukarramah, they did not have the ability to bring anything when they came to Medina Munawwara. Some of them, they had family members that were not able to travel. They were old or women and children. Okay, it was a lot of big sacrifice, and it was only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? The very, very first hadith of Imam Bukhari Sahib is إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَىٰ فَمَنْ كَانَ هِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ فَهِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَمَنْ كَانَ هِجْرَتُهُ لِدُنْيَا يُصِيبُهَا أَوْ امْرَأَةٍ يَنْكِحُهَا فَهِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى مَا هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِ. Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi, the very first hadith in his Sahib is about intention, right? And the context of that hadith is that a person had made an agreement to make hijrah to Medina Munawwara because a woman had proposed marriage to him. A Muslim brother made the intention to make hijrah to Medina Munawwara because married nikah is halal, and that's nothing wrong with that. Right? But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he clarified, if there is something other than or in addition to Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam in your intention, then the reward will be affected by that, the intention will be affected by that, the acceptance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be affected by that. Right? And he clarified, فَهِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. If your hijrah is for the sake of pleasing Allah and following the command and instruction of Rasulullah, Allah will count it as an act of obedience to Him and as an act of obedience to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَمَنْ كَانَ هِجْرَتُهُ لِدُنْيَا يُصِيبُهَا أَوْ امْرَأَةٍ يَنْكِحُهَا فَهِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى مَا هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِ. But if the intention is for the sake of acquiring some dunya, which is not haram, but it's not the same reward. It's not haram. This person didn't do anything wrong, but our intention can make a big difference. Even in halal things, even in lawful things, even in jaiz things, if our intention is not correct, then the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, among other things, is not going to be the same. Or if you are literally moving for the sake of getting married. We came to America, we came to this country, land of kufr and no halal meat and no Jummah, right? And no masjid for the sake of dunya, which is not haram, but this is an opportunity for us to fix our intention. Right? This is an opportunity for us to think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the blessings that He has given us, the blessing of iman, the blessing of family, the blessing of health, the blessing of all of these things, right? We may go, Allah give us the tawfiq to understand and practice. Hijrah was fard. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala finally gave permission to the ummah, to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to make hijrah, it became fard. Whoever was able to go had to go. Right? The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was commanded to go to Medina Munawwara. He would set up the community there. That would become the hub of the ummah. Whoever was able to join him had to go. People from outside of Medina Munawwara, they received the message that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has left Makkah Mukarramah and now gone to Medina Munawwara. Everybody has to try to go to learn the deen and to be in the company and be in the environment of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba. Right? At this time afterwards, right, the very first hijrah that took place, right? I'll get back to the hadith about parents, but the very first hijrah that took place from Makkah Mukarramah to Jama'ah, two groups went to Abyssinia, Habasha. Right? Within that group was Ja'far radiallahu anhu, the brother of Ali radiallahu anhu, who was the Amir, and one of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam who would then join him in Medina, Habiba, the daughter of Abu Sufyan, who was not Muslim yet at that time. Abu Sufyan, he accepts Islam at the time of the conquest of Makkah, but his daughter Ramla bint Abu Sufyan, her name is Habiba, she accepted Islam before, and she had made hijrah, and she was living for almost 15, maybe 17 years in Africa, in Habasha. Afterwards, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they received the news, okay, he's not in Makkah Mukarramah anymore, he's now in Medina Munawwara. Medina Munawwara, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the sovereign power, he is the leader, and everybody accepts him and made pledge allegiance to him. Then they all came back, right? Majority, they were able to come back, wherever they came back, and she joined him as one of his wives, radiallahu anha. Great reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Great, because of the sacrifice that's involved. Right? Because of the sacrifice that's involved. Right? And I don't want to spend more time talking about this, but inshallah, we should definitely reflect on this. Right? All of the people that we left behind, we were not able to attend their janazah, we were not able to see them ever again, because we're here in America. Right? Okay, my experience is different. I was born here, grew up here, but my parents, right? Now you're able to travel much more easily, much more conveniently, much more regularly. Now we have, phones and wireless video calling and things like that. But even 15 years ago, it was not the same. You're not able to travel across the world. It takes 2 days to get there. The sunnah in the sharia is as soon as the janazah is ready, you have to put that person to rest. Right? Take 2 days for family members to join. It's against the sunnah. Right? So we make dua Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to understand and give shukr. This person came, and this person, he pledged that I will go wherever you tell me to go, Ya Rasulullah. Right? I believe you, I accepted you, your command, right? But we have a situation here. Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu says that he told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَتَرَكَ أَبَوَيْهِ يَبْكِيَانِ. His parents were not happy about him leaving. His parents were not happy about him leaving. Okay. And the wording of the hadith is very strong, right? He left his parents, yabkiyani, rote hue, crying. He left them crying. Okay. So, I don't know when is the last time any of us, my young friends, my elders who are here, we remember when we did something and our parents were crying as a result of us doing something. Right? Our parents have a lot of sabr, may Allah reward them and give them jannatul firdaus. They have a lot of tahammul and bardash, right? But sometimes there is a breaking point. They are human as well. Right? Because of our badtamizi, because of our disrespect, because of some other type of problem that we have, right? We hurt them. And it causes them pain. And as a response to that pain and hurt that we have caused them, they just let out their emotions. They cry. Even our fathers sometimes, right? This is, very difficult for us to even think about. But yes, we understand that you are supposed to have more love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam than even your parents. Right? We understand that. That is part of our deen. You have more love for the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have more love for Allah than even your parents, than even your mom and dad. Still, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is teaching us in this hadith. This person came. He's ready to sacrifice everything for Allah and His Rasul. He's ready to do whatever the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told him. But his parents, he left them back home crying. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Irji ilayhima." Go back to them. Go back to them. Go back to them. Allah will reward you for your intention, but you can't stay here and you can't do this. This is not something that is going to help you or benefit you. Irji ilayhima, go back to them. Wapas jaun ki taraf, wa adhikhuma. Make them laugh. Kama abkaytahuma, the way you made them cry. Don't just go back and say sorry to them. Don't just go back and say Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent me back. You now have to undo this thing that you did. This hurt, this pain that you caused them. Adhikhuma, go hasaw. Make them smile. The opposite of what you did. What you did, even though you came for the greatest greatest possible thing is to sacrifice for the sake of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is to go and be in the suhbat of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you have to go back. You can't do it this way. This is not the right way to do it. Go back, earn their du'as. You left them crying, go back and make them laugh, make them smile, make them happy. Right? The same way you left them, kama abkaytahuma, you left them crying, now go back and make them laugh again, so that their crying stops, so that what you did when you made them cry, when you made them upset, when you hurt their feelings, you caused them pain, cause them happiness now. This is a command of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to this person who left everything to be with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he said, my parents are not happy about this decision. Okay, sometimes in the dunya, this is what has to happen, right? We have to still take permission from your parents. Maybe you don't have to take permission from your parents. You don't live with your parents, but you still have to earn their du'as. You still have to make sure that you are not hurting them. Okay, and sometimes it's not easy. They're not perfect. We've mentioned this point over and over and over again. The hadith is warning us about causing pain to our parents. Right? This is something that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam very clearly in this hadith said is not okay, is not allowed. Okay, hijrah. I want to emphasize, hijrah is one of the greatest things that we can do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if it comes at the cost of our parents being displeased with us, of our parents crying, of our parents being hurt or experiencing pain, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. That is not something that will please Allah. It did not please Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he said to him, go back home. So that's the first thing. You have to go back, say sorry to them, apologize to them, earn their du'as. Adhikhuma. Make them laugh. Make them smile, make them happy. Right? Kama abkaytume, you made them cry. Right? You're not allowed to do that, even for the sake of doing something else for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So yes, sometimes you have to explain to the parents, okay, children want to study, they want to study deen, they want to spend more time doing this or doing that, okay? Sometimes parents have a reason, sometimes parents don't have a reason. Okay, there's a right way and a wrong way to deal with it. Maybe you have to get another older person, third person to explain to your parents, oh, he has to go study or he has to go and, you know, do this or achieve this, right? And if you don't give him permission, then there may be some other type of dini harm, or there may be some type of dunyawi harm. Everybody's life is different, and the situation of the world is different for every single person. What is not allowed is that we do things that hurt our parents. What is not allowed is that we cause pain to our parents. What is definitely not allowed is that we do anything that makes our parents cry. This is not allowed. This is something we make to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May He protect us from all of anything that brings us, you know, any type of displeasure towards our parents, right? This is something that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he warned against. May Allah give us tawfiq. The next hadith, this is actually very similar to the one we read last week, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. We'll just read it and kind of explain maybe a couple more things, inshallah. It's a little bit different, not exactly the same. قال حدثنا عبد الرحمن بن شيبة قال أخبرني ابن أبي الفديك قال حدثني موسى عن أبي حازم أن أبا مرة مولى أم هانئ بنت أبي طالب أخبره أنه ركب مع أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه إلى أرضه بالعقيق فإذا دخل أرضه صاح بأعلى صوته عليك السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته يا أمتا تقول وعليك السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته يقول رحمك الله كما ربيتني صغيرا فتقول يا بني وأنت فجزاك الله خيرا ورضي الله عنك كما بررتني كبيرا. So Abu Murrah, who is the freed slave of Hani. Hani is the sister of Ali radiallahu anhu, also the cousin of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hani bint Abi Talib. So one of the children of Abu Talib, the sister of Ali radiallahu anhu. So Abu Murrah, who is the tabi'i, who was with Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. So the ulama, they say it could be the same incident that took place in Dhul Hulayfa, or it could be another separate time. And he's just mentioning he did this more than once. But in any case, here it mentions Bil Aqiq. In the other hadith it mentioned Dhul Hulayfa. So we said Dhul Hulayfa, this is the miqat for the people coming from the north, from Medina Munawwara. Those who are going for Hajj or Umrah to Makkah Mukarramah, they have to put their ihram, the Hajj Umrah uniform, at Dhul Hulayfa, which is the miqat, the boundary point. In this hadith it's mentioning Bil Aqiq. Okay? So Aqiq is also, like 100 kilometers away from Medina Munawwara. Aqiq is just the name of a valley, right? So Medina Munawwara, there's mountains around it. So the area in between the mountains, Aqiq. Okay. So Abu Murrah, he is with Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. When he gets into his town, or when he gets close to his home, Saha bi a'la sawti, he used to scream, or not scream, but say very loudly, Chikh, with a very, very loud voice, bi a'la sawtihi, with a very, very high voice, alayki salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh ya ummata. Peace be upon you and Allah's mercy and Allah's blessings, O my mother, ya ummata, ammi jan. He used to say this loudly so that everybody could hear, even before he gets home. And then she would respond, taqulu wa alayka salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. His mother, Abu Hurairah's mother, would respond to her son, and peace be upon you and Allah's mercy and His blessings. يقول رحمك الله كما ربيتني صغيرا. He would say to his mother, may Allah have mercy on you, كما ربيتني صغيرا, the way you did tarbiyah of me when I was small, the way you nurtured me and parwarish me and you took care of me, raised me when I was small. فتقول يا بني وأنت فجزاك الله خيرا ورضي الله عنك كما بررتني كبيرا. And she's making dua for her son. He's making dua for his mother, she's making dua for her son. This is Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. Okay, his maqam is very, very special within the deen. He memorized the most hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is his maqam, but still, this is how he behaves with his mother. This is how he behaves with his mom. His mother responds to her, Ya bunayya, oh my beta, oh my dear son. وأنت, and you also, فجزاك الله خيرا, may Allah reward you with good. ورضي الله عنك, may Allah be pleased with you, كما بررتني كبيرا, the way you have done good to me as an adult. So he said to her, may Allah have mercy on you the way you raised me when I was small. She responds to his dua by, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with you and reward you with good the way you are good to me when you are an adult. We make dua. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to remember our parents in our duas, remember their rights over us, remember their ihsan and favors over us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from their disobedience, protect us from causing their displeasure and any pain, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all so much tawfiq, so much tawfiq, so much tawfiq. The next chapter, chapter 7, will continue next week, is the chapter on disobedience and nafarmani towards one's parents. We make dua, may Allah give us the ability to properly understand and practice. اللهم انت السلام ومنك السلام تبارك يا ذا الجلال والاكرام. اللهم اعني على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم انا نسالك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم انا نسالك من خير ما سالك منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. وانت المستعان وعليك البلاغ ولا حول ولا قوه الا بالله. لا اله الا انت سبحانك اني كنت من الظالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزه عما يصفون، وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله.